I made a Bobby V type beat in the style of his iconic sound on the song Slow Down and Tell Me. For that, I sampled a song by a Chinese composer to mimic the style that Tim and Bob used on both hit singles. And in this video, I'ma show y'all what I did. In '05, Bobby V came out with Slow Down and he immediately followed that up with Tell Me. And what you can hear on both songs is that there's a distinctly East Asian sound being used in the beat. Both songs are sampled. Tell Me samples the song For the World, and Slow Down samples a song off of the soundtrack of The Last Samurai. And when you look at Tim and Bob's volume of production credits, I think it speaks volume about how creative those two are to develop such an iconic sound at that stage in their career when they've already been busy for about 15 years or so. So that inspired me to try and find a song with a similar vibe. And for that, I used the song Cherry Blossom by Chinese composer Jia Pengfang. I found the song and I wasn't convinced yet, but I decided to dust off the machine, I plugged that baby in, and I decided to chop. Let's look at the chop that I used for the verse. I was convinced at this point. I knew that I was gonna turn this motherfucker into some magic. So having chopped up the sample, I realized that the song was leaning a lot more towards Tell Me than towards Slow Down, which is fine in my book. So I decided to go with a typical 2000s R&B drum beat which has a super boomy kick and some claps to accentuate that. Shit, I'm not gonna hold y'all. The first thing that I did when I knew I had some magic there was record a video for Instagram. I mean, I had to let those 100 followers know that I was making a banger, right? So eventually, I decided to go back to the OG song to find myself a chop that I could use for the hook. And I ended up hitting the jackpot because not only did I find a chop that I could use for the hook, I also found a dope chop that I could use for the second part of the verse. I also ended up finding a third chop, but we're gonna get back to that one later. First, I wanna tell you good folks about my chopping strategy. I just be doing shit, really. Well, that's not entirely true. Usually when I chop a sample, I listen very carefully to the chord progression, and I try my best to divide a 4-bar sample over the 16 pads that I have on my machine. The trick is to be able to manipulate the chord progression to your liking. The starting point, the resolution, the climax, the cadence, basically everything of the chord progression. Sometimes you're working with a sample that doesn't exactly fit or match the tempo that you're working with, or it's kind of a pain to stretch it out, and that's a-okay. Usually I just chop it up a second time, a little bit more precise, and I make sure that I can arrange it in a way so that it does fit the tempo that I got in mind. So you're probably wondering to yourself, wouldn't it be easier to just take a 4-bar loop and loop it over and over? And you're probably right, but that doesn't even come close to Tim and Bob's unique style on the two songs that we're referencing. Tim and Bob's style that we're referencing is actually a style based around the sample with East Asian instruments, super boomy but simple and accessible drums being played, and other instruments being added as well, such as the guitar that you're hearing on Tell Me and on Slow Down. So back to the beat. I was at the point where I wanted to do some layering, so I took out a piano from Contact, strings from the Triton, and bass from the Triton. I tried my best to play the chord progression by ear, and I think I did a damn good job. Now there's plenty of ways to figure out which notes are being played, which chords are being played, but with my years of experience, I trust my hearing, and like I said, I think I did a mighty fine job. At some point you just become very confident in your hearing, but even so, the occasional wrong note might just introduce some flavor into the beat that you didn't expect you would have. I also went ahead and added some percussion to the drum beat that I have. Most of these sounds are from the Triton, but you already know at this point. So above that third and final chop, once I found it, I thought it would be the perfect chop for the hook. But then I found the chop for the hook that I liked even better, and I decided to relegate this one to an outro. And that's why we have this beauty playing right here. I decided to lead into that outro by playing an extended version of the hook, which you can hear right here. But even so, the transition into that outro wasn't all that, so I took a couple of small chops and I played them as passing chords or passing notes to lead into the outro. And there you have it, beautiful folks, one of those quintessential Bobby V type beats in the style that Tim and Bob produced for Tell Me and Slow Down. Now if you want to see me do more things with the 2000s R&B, I like to say that I'm nice with the Mariah Carey type beats, but go ahead and listen to this breakdown of a Jagged Edge type beat right here as well. And as usual, beautiful folks, I hope to see y'all in the next video. Y'all be easy. Peace.